everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of the Racco Strength and Fitness Podcast. This is the Pete Rose and Ernie Banks episode. Today, we will be looking at another location highlight. So I'm going to be talking about a specific area of the body, the muscles of that location, how they attach and perform in the body, and finally how to train those muscles that we talk about. That area is the posterior upper arm. So it's going to go hand in hand with my other video about the anterior upper arm. This video will be focusing on its antagonistic compartment, the muscles that extend the arm at the elbow as opposed to flex the arm at the elbow. Let's begin. As we look at the posterior upper arm, we may notice one key difference between it and the anterior compartment. There's only one muscle located on the posterior compartment of the upper arm. That muscle is the triceps brachii. Now, as you may know or may have guessed, the tricep, just like the bicep, is named for the number of heads it has. 3. These 3 heads are the long head, lateral head, and medial head. Let's begin with the long head of the tricep. It originates on the infraglenoid tubercle of the scapula, so similar to the bicep, this head of the tricep originates in the shoulder. This means that not only does the long head of the tricep help extend the arm at the elbow, like the other 2 heads, but the long head also assists in extension of the shoulder and adduction of the arm. Next, we come to the lateral head. The origin of the lateral head is on the humerus, just superior to the radial groove. And just beneath that, we find the origin of the medial head, again, originating on the humerus, but just inferior to that same radial groove. All 3 of these heads converge together and insert into the olecranon process of the ulna. You may know the olecranon better as the bony part of your elbow. Together, the 3 heads' main function is to extend the arm at the elbow, and is an antagonist of the bicep and brachialis muscles. The tricep is also used to stabilize the arm in fine motor skills, like writing or typing. And because of the long head's insertion into the shoulder, it helps with extension, adduction, and stabilization of the shoulder joint. So now we know what the tricep is and where it's located. How do we best train these muscles of the tricep using the knowledge that we now have? First, I want to stress that no matter what exercise we use, it's impossible to completely isolate one head over the others. All heads of the tricep will be engaged to some degree with all elbow extension exercises. That being said, any exercise that involves elbow extension involves the tricep. That includes push-ups, bench presses, and overhead presses. In fact, I would argue that these exercises are the most important when it comes to tricep development. These are stronger lifts than any isolation exercises for the tricep, and not only are they being worked through their extension range of motion, but they are also called upon to help stabilize the arms and shoulders during these lifts. It's my recommendation to always start with these bigger lifts first, and then finish your workouts with isolation training if you want to add more volume to your tricep regimen. Now, let's focus on more isolation exercises for the tricep. Just like the anterior compartment of the upper arm, changing your arm and shoulder angle in relation to your body can have an effect on which muscles are being highlighted. Remember, we cannot isolate one specific head of the tricep. However, there seems to be a bit more discrepancy with tricep exercises than bicep and brachialis ones. For years in the bodybuilding community, it has been believed that placing the shoulder in a flexed position or above the head helps to shift focus to the long head of the tricep. Remember, originating on the infraglenoid tubercle of the scapula, shoulder flexion would put the long head into a lengthened position, allowing for a more full contraction. While in theory, this would seem to make sense, in practice it may not be as cut and dry. Different studies have been done that have shown that this is not necessarily the case. Remember, due to the long head's origin in the shoulder, it plays a role in shoulder stabilization. These studies have shown that tricep exercises like cable extensions Incline kickbacks and regular kickbacks can have a more significant effect on long head training. This could be because these specific exercises require the long head of the tricep to stabilize the shoulder in order to execute them correctly. It's also been preached for years to emphasize the medial head. You need to do extensions with a supinated or neutral grip. Ultimately, what I have concluded from my own reading, these tweaks to the arm and shoulder positioning may have a minimal effect on muscle isolation. My recommendation would be to find 2 or 3 of these isolation exercises that you like and focus on making progress in those specific exercises rather than bouncing between 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different exercises that may have minimal to no significant difference. Always remember to focus on developing overall strength with the bench press, push-up, and overhead presses. And then finish your workouts 2 or 3 times a week with those tricep isolation exercises that you like. These isolation exercises can include tricep cable extensions using a straight bar, triangle bar, or rope, tricep kickbacks, or inclined kickbacks, skull crushers using dumbbells, an easy curl bar, barbell, or incline bench, single arm or two-handed overhead extensions. Selecting 2 or 3 of these exercises and adding them into your weekly training can help you fully develop and round out your tricep training. That's all for me, everyone. I hope you were able to learn something that you'll be able to apply in your future training. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more training content in the future. Happy training, everyone, and remember, grab the bull by the tusks.